Funding for Netsafe is provided by the Utah State Legislature through a grant from the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice in proud partnership with these other organizations. When it comes to today's technology, it's no exaggeration to say that teenagers use the internet very differently from their parents and grandparents. For many adults, the internet is used primarily as a means to retrieve information, whereas teenagers use it to connect with their peers. Not surprisingly, the growth and use of the internet mirrors the general growth of the population. According to a recent poll, the total number of people who use the internet numbers in the millions.
As far as researching, my goodness, I mean, I remember going up to the library and trying to research for my master's, and it just took you forever, and now you just Google it and you find the information, and kids are much more learned as a result of that source of information.
In fact, being online on the job is, in many cases, vital to the individual's performance and job specifications.
The internet and my job are very important. Every day I come in, first thing I do is I get on the internet, I check email, I am also responding to many requests from people, teachers, others with regard to the internet, and it's integral. It's part of my life. Without it, I wouldn't be able to do my job.
The number of adults using the internet at work, be it in an office building, work site, or home office, continues to grow at a steady pace.
Well, every morning, first thing, I come in and I turn on my computer and see the list of things that my boss has for me to do. I do a lot of contract work through the internet, corresponding with companies. And, for example, next week we have a big meeting here, and I am planning the meeting, taking lunch orders, and doing all of that on the internet with 24 people. And we don't do it on the phone anymore. We do it on the internet.
When asked why and how they use the internet, adults say they use it for gathering information, to communicate with others, keep up with the news, find travel deals, or simply to shop.
On our recent trips, I usually took the laptop with me. It's very easy to take, and that's how we'd communicate. We wouldn't use a cell phone, we'd use the email because it was easier, and we could go out of the country with it, and I could take pictures and send pictures to our friends and our family. It was very nice to stay in touch. We were gone a month, and we felt quite comfortable because we could communicate.
Adults also go online to find the latest information about health and nutrition.
I'm going to need a kidney transplant, so I go on the internet and I look up medical tourism. I try to understand more about the kidney, so when I go in and see a doctor that they explain to me what's going on, but I've got some information ahead of time, so there's so much information on the internet, it's amazing.
Most of this really comes as no surprise. But what is surprising is that when these internet-savvy adults are asked what they think their kids are doing online, this is what they say.
My kids, luckily, are pretty good. My son is mostly looking up cheats for video games. And my daughter mostly is using it for schoolwork. I mean, she doesn't do a lot of email and stuff like that, so she's using it for schoolwork, to research papers, take practice tests, which the schools have set up, which I think is a great idea. So I think that's a lot what she's doing, and I hope that's all she's doing.
Children, teenagers, and young adults are by far the biggest users of the internet. This is not surprising when you consider that most of them have literally grown up online. According to recent studies, over 93% of teenagers use the internet.
I'm on the internet probably about an hour every day. It's like when I have nothing to do, I just get on the internet and look around and find something to read or look at, play.
I usually get on YouTube or like Nabalster.com to watch movies because it's like 100% cheaper than going to rent them or seeing them in theaters. I also go on my MySpace or check my email or go on MS Messenger if I have people online.
Well, being online, it's not a dire need to me, but it is like a big deal in my social life. I could live without it, but I'd prefer having it.
Currently, millions of online teens have shared information about themselves on social networking sites like Facebook and MySpace. By creating profiles about themselves, kids can develop their identity, seek validation from others, and share their artistic creations, photos, and feelings.
On MySpace, I mostly just will do comments with each other, and it's mostly just my friends from school or my cousins and some of my friends from other schools that I don't see as much.
Texting and instant messaging is definitely a prevalent thing. I don't know if you can necessarily say important. For me, I enjoy instant messaging because it keeps me in contact with my friends and or my family throughout the day.
In some ways, kids are much better communicators than adults give them credit for. These multitasking, multi-channel teens will use any tool to communicate with friends. Except, unlike their parents, today's teens are finding communicating by email to be one of the least popular methods for keeping up with friends. Instant participation is key to the online lives of kids.
Well, talking on the phone, usually when I'm talking on the phone, I can do maybe like a couple things at the same time. But like if you're texting someone, you can text them, but then you can also be IMing someone else or being on Facebook or watching TV.
There's a huge generation gap when it comes to technology. We had none of this when we were younger, and it's so difficult and frustrating to not know what these children are doing all the time.
The generation gap, be it online or otherwise, is not going away anytime soon. The best thing parents, grandparents, and guardians can do is to keep an open line of communication with children and teenagers about their online activity. Talk to them about the dangers of the internet and ask to see some of the things they do online and sites they visit. You'll probably find your child is most anxious to help you get up to speed when it comes to matters of technology. Without question, the internet is one of the most useful and fascinating tools of technology available today for people of all ages. Regardless of how you spend your time online, keep it safe, protect your identity, and never share personal information with anyone. For more information, go to netsafeutah.org. Funding for Netsafe is provided by the Utah State Legislature through a grant from the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice in proud partnership with these other organizations.